Amnesty Program boss, General Burrow, says empowerment is key to reintegration of delegates. Stakeholders commend implementation of key components of Amnesty Program, plus fact file, tidbits, and more. Hello there and welcome to Reintegration 30,000. It is good to be with you once again, and I hope you will sit out the next half hour with us as your companion. We also intend to make this episode quite informative, particularly as we bring you a mixed grill of some major achievements of the Presidential Amnesty Program in agriculture. And so we will begin to reflect these gains from our regular first segment, A Changed Story. Like I said earlier, our Changed Story will be a mixed grill of delegates whose lives have changed courtesy of the Presidential Amnesty Program and who are currently engaged in agricultural ventures, of course, after being trained and empowered by the Presidential Amnesty Program.
My name is Avia Raphael Agogo from Delta State, Ughelli North Local Government Area.
My name is Engineer Silas Honorode. By the grace of God, and my brother you just talked with is my elder brother.
I be former militant.
We all did the same struggle. 2009, when Yaradua granted us presidential amnesty. Now we go for the second phase.
And embracing the amnesty program, it was not an easy task because we thought they were deceiving us to come out. But thank God we came out and we embraced it. And right from that minute to this moment, I have not regretted embracing amnesty. On November 2015, they called me. As I received that call that evening, they called me say, are you Raphael? I said yes. Avia? I said yes. He said you will not be selected to go on a rice training in Ibil, Ogoja.
During the training, they taught us many things. On my own, I did so many research about rice to know how best I can plant it in my own community. So, by the grace of God, this place you are seeing now is the rice farm. It's measuring 3 hectares. But we calculated using GPS to know the total square meter of this place.
I'm Emmanuel Onajomo Akore. This is Caliber Fish Farms. You're seeing what we're coming, you're coming. I have good broodstock, fingerlings, juveniles, etro, clearance, and hybrid catfish. We even stock tilapia and other species of fish. We're good at what we do. Fish is our main thing. I led a delegation of about 32 people to Israel, and who were actually trained by Galilee College. From there, I had this urge to actually practice what I was trained to do, because we were really trained. I want to commend the federal government for doing that. It's a noble idea.
My name is Uche Uburia. I'm the director of Dora Uche Poultry Enterprise. I'm from Rivers State in the Ikure local government area of Rivers State. My days before, I was a kidnapper. Before 2009, when late Musa Yar'Adua, the late president, produced this amnesty, we were thinking it's just for something. But today I have seen that it is a reality. I dropped my arms on 29 October 2009. Thereafter, I proceeded to non-violent training at Obobra Cross River State for 2 weeks. What I learned from the non-violent training is that for me today, I can't go where there is war. If I see gun today, gun is just like a poison for me. I always go and make peace wherever I see there is trouble. After the non-violent training, I proceed to Achievers Farm at Bayelsa State, Ibogene, for 6 months to learn poultry. So on 2016, January 3rd, I proceeded to Songhai Farm at Delta State, Omekpe Sapele, where I took a 1-week empowerment refresher. Thereafter, on the same March, Colonel O.O. Dabiri came to start my empowerment. On 9th of September 2016, Boro and his entourage came here to commission the project. Today, I can see my dream come to reality.
Vocational training is a key component of the Presidential Amnesty Program and most often covers diverse areas of national development and interest. We do know that currently a lot of focus is being deployed towards commercial agriculture, and the Presidential Amnesty Program has already keyed into the national campaign. This week, on our segment Insight, we will do an overview of agricultural training under the Presidential Amnesty Program.
To appreciate God Almighty through our great President, His Excellency President Chief Muhammad of Policy Office, who has deemed it fit to sustain the Presidential Amnesty Program for the benefit of the youth in the Niger Delta region, so that there will be peace, stability, and development of the region. This is main concern, and that is why I'm tasked to come here and empower the youth of the region in the area of agriculture, in this case aquaculture. We are here to commission this integrated farm that houses fish pond, poultry, crop, distillery, piggery, and others. We are doing all these things to the glory of God Almighty. In the name of the God, Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless all we are doing. Amen.
Agriculture is an area that has remained of utmost importance to the Presidential Amnesty Office. This is in line with the presidential initiative on exploring available potential in the sector to grow the national economy.
I am so passionate about that because with agriculture you cannot go wrong. Agriculture will help in transforming my economy positively, creating job opportunities as it were, and of course enhancing the capacity, the financial capacity and position of individuals and their groups.
The Amnesty Office is therefore vigorously pursuing partnerships with relevant agro-allied groups to, among other things, encourage the youth of the Niger Delta to embrace commercial agriculture. Some of the program's key partners include the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, the National Biotechnology Development Center, the Scientific Equipment Development Institute, as well as reputable and established private sector players like Songhai Farms.
We're doing cash crops, we're doing fish farming, we're doing snail production, we're doing grass cutter, piggery, poultry, just name it. But the main focus is the value chain. Whatever field we find ourselves, we do the full value chain of that field.
The scope of training in this area is vast. Apparently, emerging challenges demand new approaches in agricultural practices, thus justifying the very strict partnerships by the Amnesty Office with players who possess core technical capacity in advanced agriculture. Thousands of delegates have been trained already in agriculture, and more are being redirected into targeted value chain of specific agro sectors.
Right now, we see delegates calling in to say, I want agriculture, and we have a caseload of these delegates. Once we see their interest in agriculture, we list them down, and once we have an opening, we deploy them into that particular training center. Right now, across the Niger Delta, in Ondo, Imo, Abia, Cross River, River State Delta, Edo, we have a number of delegates. Like, for example, the cassava, where we deploy delegates for cassava. They do both the cassava farming, the processing, the packaging, the market, you know, so that way it goes all through, not just processing and then you're stuck with a market. So we engage off-takers to mop up these products from the delegates around. Once we attach them to a center, we engage off-takers so that they, mop up everything, and that way sales are going on and the delegates are happy.
At the last count, thousands of delegates have been empowered by the office to begin fishery, poultry, and crop farming. Focus is also being given to the cluster farm approach, where delegates are brought together to form cooperatives to boost access to credits and increase productivity. You're watching Reintegration 30,000, and on our next segment, Talking Point, we will be speaking with one of the program's core partners in terms of technical training. He is Prince Jacob Momo. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Stella, for having me.
As a stakeholder from the Niger Delta, speak to us on what you consider some of the laudable interventions of the Buhari administration in sustaining the peace in the Niger Delta.
Yes, we are for the inception of the Mr. President administration. We all know the amnesty program that was amnesty that was declared by then President of Nigeria, late Musa Yar'Adua, and it was obviously clear to everybody, including the stakeholders, the generals themselves, that the program will be coming to an end by ending of 2015. But as God will have it, the President think it wise to ensure the extension of the program for possible consolidation of the program by ensuring that the program is well funded, by making good budgetary allocation for the office, and so far so good. I would say that that is one of the major vehicles right now for the sustainability in terms of what this administration has visibly done for the sustainability of the peace in the Niger Delta region.
Would you agree that these achievements make the amnesty program stand out as a success so far? And what do you think should be done to sustain the current level of success?
Yes, I think what every leader from the Niger Delta is expected to do at this point in time is to rally around the Honorable Special Advisor, which came on board and decided to say the way forward for our youth to be gainfully employed, for there to be sustainable peace, the youth must be engaged in the area of agriculture, industrialization, and education. Now, it is very important for everybody to rally around the special advisor to encourage the youth to take up those opportunities that the office have rolled out for them, like the aspect of agriculture and education, which most of them today are being placed in various private universities across the country, and also some of them are still abroad, running up their first degrees and their master's program that has been fully sponsored by this administration.
Please give us an insight into your partnership with the Amnesty Office, especially in the area of automobile manufacturing, maintenance, and repair.
Yes, as a member of the ruling party and also from that region, I realized that the only way we can be able to tackle this unrestfulness of the youth is to deploy some diplomatic measures, what I call diplomatic measures, possible collaborations that is a win-win for the region. I went into collaboration with my partner Innocent Motors. I went into various discussions on how we can become a key major players in the automobile industry by training our Niger Delta youth on various areas of automobile, and at the same time having a factory being domiciled close to them where they will be gainfully employed. As I'm talking to you right now, the governor of Akwa Ibom State has graciously approved land for the construction of Innoson manufacturing vehicle, which the purpose where we are training the numbers of persons we have trained is to get them engaged. After the completion of the factory, they will be gainfully employed. We train them on automobile electricals, automobile mechanics, upholstery, painting, and the rest. Let me say, the holistic aspect of motor vehicle. They were well trained on that area. And as I'm talking to you, the boys that have been trained were being certified by the federal government body in charge of skill acquisition. And they have the certification, and they did very well, absolutely very well. That I believe these boys can compete with any persons that have also they are also in that field. They can compete with them in any way, in terms of as far as automobile is concerned.
Very quickly before we let you go, what do you see for the Niger Delta, especially in the very near future, say 2 years?
Yes, that you can be rest assured that the Niger Delta region is going to be an economic hub in terms of agricultural aspect, in terms of industry, and in terms of knowledge. Because right now, all the youth that we have been trained in various universities abroad will be coming back home now to come and take off jobs with the multinationals, the oil companies, which will be engaging them for possible discourse. As I'm talking to the PANDEF, the leader group association of our leaders from the region, they're engaging the multinationals on how they can ensure that they employed our youth from that region. These are part of the discussion that is being chaired by the Vice President and the leader from the region, Chief Edwin Clark, and General Boro, the Special Advisor to the Amnesty Office and coordinator of the Amnesty Program.
Prince Jacob Momo has been speaking on several issues of concern to the Niger Delta, and I dare say he has been quite upfront with his opinions. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Stella, once again for having me.
Prince Jacob Momo is a core technical partner of the Presidential Amnesty Program and, more importantly, an advocate of positive values in the region. Up next is our segment PAP in Recap. Amnesty Program boss Brigadier General Paul Boro has reiterated the importance of the empowerment kit provided by the Amnesty Office for delegates who have been successfully trained in their chosen vocations. The presidential aide explained that the empowerment package is a startup kit and morale booster that would fast-track the reintegration of former armed agitators back into civil society while also making them contributors to their local economy.
By so doing, it is expected that the skills they've learned will make them add value to the environment where they come from.
Meanwhile, another batch of 42 ex-agitators from the Presidential Amnesty Program have graduated in fashion design, tailoring and leather works after 9 months of training at the Zutilatam Institute in Lagos. The special advisor to the President on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, in a message to the graduates, reiterated the commitment of the Amnesty Office towards capacity development of the youth in the Niger Delta region, particularly the 30,000 ex-agitators captured under the Presidential Amnesty Program. We urged the beneficiaries to grab the opportunity with all seriousness to make positive impact on the local economy. High point of the event was a fashion parade by the graduates and presentation of certificates, awards and donation of different empowerment tools from individuals and corporate organizations. And lastly, more calls for peace and dialogue have emerged from the Niger Delta region as government and leaders from the Delta parley over a proactive development agenda. While some stakeholders applaud the federal government for committed implementation of policies such as the Presidential Amnesty Program, there are also calls for concerted efforts in environmental remediation of oil polluted communities and the provision of social infrastructure.
We who are fathers, we who are leaders, are equally as annoyed as the little one. Yet, the difference is that don't do this. Don't carry gun. The difference is that don't do this. Don't carry, what we call the other thing, machete, cutlass, to butcher human beings. Even don't destroy your property.
Well, this is it. It has been a good run for this episode, and we hope next week would even be better. Do join in the conversation by dropping your comments and contributions on our various social media platforms. Remember to pursue your dreams with action, and also remember that amnesty works. I am Stella Inameti.